Yo, what's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's having a nice day. I don't have a ton of time here, so I'm going to get right into it. We're just going to do some of our aim training, and then we're going to get out of here. Alrighty. Loading into Aim Labs right now. Here we go. You know the drill. It's the Voltaic Wuhujin Intermediate playlist for Valorant. We start with tracking. This is just left-right horizontal movements. Try to focus up here. Listen to some music while we do this. Hope everybody's having a nice start to their week. Started back at work after the holiday break. It's always rough getting back to that first day, but you know, now that that's out of the way, it's all gravy from here, right? Decent first run through on this. Not going to be a record by any means, but pretty solid. Alright, we're just going to keep the good times rolling here and keep plowing through this playlist as fast as we can while doing our best to perform well. If you haven't noticed, I don't use my left click when I'm doing these tracking tasks. I hold down the Alt button on my keyboard. You can program your fire button, any button on your keyboard, and it's very helpful in these tracking tasks to remove tension in your mouse hand. I don't feel like this is as strong as the last one. Just gotta focus up here, stay on target, keep moving with it, not anticipate. Yeah, definitely not as good. Alright, we're gonna bring that one back. Really focus up on here on the task at hand of tracking. Staying on the target. Constant movement left and right, not anticipating when the direction's gonna change. No verticality to my movement. I'm going left and right, right on the target, right on the target. Crosshair wants to live on the target, and it's going to live on the target, right? Here we go. Right on the target. Right on the target. Oh, nailing it. Right on the target. Crushing it. Staying right on the target here. Right on the target here. That was a bigger movement than I was expecting. It's trying to get away from me now. It's doing a pretty good job. But a solid rebound from the previous. For anyone unaware, that is basically to help you in-game maintain a left-right movement when you are aiming. So as you are tracking targets or trying to keep your aiming moving so it's at head level at all times rather than adding verticality to the movement. So this next tracking task does add verticality. It's a little bit different. It adds a little bit of a warp movement to the, I believe they call it blink in aim training communities. So that's an element of flicking the whole task. One of the hardest things about aim training for me is like, you really can't pick up your mouse at all. Sometimes your hand ends up in a really weird position. especially on these tracking tasks that are like long and get really biased towards like the left or the right. Your wrist can end up at a weird angle. That's usually when my tracking suffers pretty substantially, as my wrist gets at a really weird angle. It's one of my better runs in a while though, so I'm not complaining. Here we go. Really need to clean my mouse pads. Need to set some time aside to do that. Today's gonna be rough because I have choir rehearsal and it's our dress rehearsal for our Christmas concert. So I almost certainly won't have time tonight. I mean, maybe when I get back I could do it, but I doubt it. It's further away than it usually is because of where we perform. We're doing it where we perform. So I'm probably just gonna get straight in bed when I get back. Trying to focus up here, stay right on the target, do some good tracking. Again, it gets a little weird when it starts getting in more of the extremes. Try not to like kink my wrist. I'm gonna start over because that was a little rough right there. Here we go. Trying to maintain my flicking principles here, under flicking and then adjusting to the target. And then acknowledging its motion in the tracking. Mostly pretty solid runs there. So now we take a 2-minute break. I gotta start my timer here. And that is the tracking category for this aim training session. For those of you unfamiliar with the playlist, again, it's the Woohoojin Voltaic Intermediate Valorant playlist. This is specified aim training to build your skills in Valorant with the help of an aim training community that has developed this very specifically for Valorant. So it's divided into 4 categories. First one is tracking, then you get into flicking, then you get into micro adjustments, and then you have moving targets. Within each section, you will have 2 different tasks that will repeat 3 times each. So you have 6 scenarios to play through. We just completed the tracking task, which starts with horizontal left-right aim with no verticality, trying to keep your aim as horizontally sound as possible. And then you get into the second, which is more like a more traditional tracking scenario, adding in the blinking movement, so you add some flicking plus the tracking. We'll get into the flicks next, which are pretty much the larger flicks that you'll perform. So the first one's more of a speed-oriented task, larger targets, larger area to flick. So the goal is to flick as fast as possible. You want to explode between targets, under flick in as much as possible, and then micro adjust to the target from there. The follow-up task will be with smaller targets on less total area. So it's a little bit more precision oriented, but the overall principles remain the same. Explode between targets. If they happen to be tight together, you can micro adjust, but since they're a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more precision oriented. And then we get into the micro adjustment tasks, which is really just like land directly on the target, click as fast as possible, adds in some like target priority principles as well. And then you get into the motion tasks, which is all about leading the target, letting the target run into your crosshair, and clicking. DC invite doesn't work. Huh. I'll have to take a look at that. Alright, so we're getting into our next task here. This is the flicking tasks. Yeah, my Discord server might be a little bit dated. I really just got back into streaming recently. I've mostly been doing it to create a VOD of my aim training and my in-game play, but I can definitely work on reviving my Discord a little bit. Appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you're having a nice day. We are just running through our aim training today, doing it as fast as possible, because I have limited time. Yeah, it's a decent chance most of my links and or some of like my automated commands are somewhat dated. Bought a new mouse today, going from a 103 gram Death Adder to a 53 gram OP1. Hopefully my aim won't disappear. Yeah, I was playing on my original Logitech G Pro for the longest time, and I got the Super Light 2 out of like last year, I guess. And it took me a little bit. It was probably like 2 weeks before I felt right. And then I changed the skates, and it took me another 2 weeks to adjust. And then you change your mouse pad, and it takes another 2 weeks to adjust. You know, it's kind of endless. That is exciting. New mouse is always fun. You'll have to let me know how you like it. I was rocking the original Death Adder for a while too. And then I wanted to get to a wireless mouse because I was tired of... I always felt like the cable drag was throwing me off. Even though I know a lot of aim training purists would say that wired mice are better. Masters too. That's pretty solid, man. You're a much better aimer than I am. I think I got up to a Voltaic Platinum when I was like actively doing the ranked things. I was like just outside of Diamond, I believe. A couple pushing for Jade, but that was really as far as I was ever hoping to go. Doing a decent run in here. But yeah, summer 2023, I had a pretty long stretch of aim training. I think I got like 3 months solid in where I was doing like 5 out of 7 days a week. I felt pretty crisp back then. And then I became a dad and kind of ran out of time to do it as often, so had to slow down a little bit. Oh, aim labs ranked, gotcha. Yeah, the Voltaic stuff's actually kind of tough. I had to like sit down and just like grind to push some of those. But yeah, these this like Voltaic Woohoojin playlist is pretty solid. Woohoojin put a YouTube video together. It kind of goes through the whole thing and provides instructions on how to go about the tasks, which is going to be a better explainer than I can provide. But it's nice because this playlist is only about 30 minutes long, with rest included, so it's easy to just grind, and I can fit 30 minutes into my day before I have to like pick up my kids from daycare and stuff. But I've been trying to get back into ranked, started grinding a little bit more yesterday, got back up into plat. I peaked Ascendant 1 back in episode 5, which was, I don't know, was that like 2 years ago at this point? So, don't know how far I'm actually going to push it, but I always kind of want to hit Immortal, but I don't know if I'll have the time to do that. We'll see. What role do you play in Valorant? I'm mostly a controller main, really Omen for the most part. I play Viper on some maps, you know, the ones you pretty much have to. Breeze, Icebox, ones like that. I used to play on Viper on Pearl. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do because I really don't want to play Astra. Not that Astra's not good, I just find her frustrating and boring at times. And limiting if your team's not particularly good because she doesn't have a lot of util to self-support. So I tried Clove on Pearl yesterday. Didn't hate it. Peaked Gold 3, gotcha. Cypher Breach, okay, that's pretty solid. I could never get into playing Sentinels myself. Something about the playstyle is just like not for me. Just doesn't click. I played a lot of, well, controller's my main role by far, but I also got really into playing like recon initiators. I got really into Sova for a while, and then I used to play Breach on Fracture, but then I transitioned to Brimstone, and I just found it had a lot more impact. Breach can be very frustrating for me personally, because, again, he's just one of those agents that's hard to do a lot of, like, can't really use util for yourself very easily. Especially as you start to rank up more, because people react to it better. Breach is very hit or miss. You either get 30 kills or get 3 kills, no in the middle. Yeah, that's generally my experience too. And like that's the thing, realistically, I gotta take a break again here. Like especially at lower ranks, I find that they just don't, your opponents really don't know how to like work around Breach util. They tend to just like tank it for some reason. And like they get full flashed every time, and like you can really punish people if they don't know what to do against Breach util. But as you start pushing up, especially if like Breach is meta on a particular map, people tend to start knowing how to play around it better, and you can find very little value out of it. So you have to start playing even smarter, which can be annoying, especially if you're solo queuing. Breach somewhat relies on your teammates taking advantage of your plays, and you can't always expect to work with a duelist that wants to play off your Breach util very effectively. Although again, as you rank up even higher, it gets better because then people do play around you better, so it's like it's a mixed bag. But yeah, my account decayed to Gold 3 because as I mentioned, became a dad, so I have twins. I had to take about a year hiatus from playing Valorant with any level of really trying seriously, and then prior to that, I got into the Wuhoojin community pretty heavily and was playing in-houses and like they're like in-house league, the Underpeel League for a season, and really just maintained my rank after the split. So like all of episode 6, I basically just stayed in Diamond, and didn't really. I think I played less than 50 ranked games, like all of an episode 6, and then 7 was like. 7 and 8 was basically my hiatus because of my kids, so just getting back into it now. And I was 5-stacking with some friends that were like gold and silver ranked that I hadn't been able to play with in a long time, just because I did peak so high. And wins were hard to come by, but 5-stacking was fun. And now that I'm solo queuing again, it's been easier to win, but not always as fun either, you know? It's always the double-edged sword of ranking up. But it is frustrating to play in lower ranks after being in higher ranks because you get used to your teammates reacting a certain way, and then you get in the lower ranks again, you're like, oh yeah, people just like don't know what they're doing. Not that I was ever amazing, but you start to play around your team a little bit more, and you can't do that when you're in gold as easily. Still don't have the OPN right now. It's being shipped from Istanbul, arriving this Friday. I'm gonna have 2 days to get used to the OP1 before I enter an RM2 tournament. Whew. Well, good luck, man. I hope you can adjust to it fast. I mean, you'll know pretty quickly if it's the right mouse for you, like, and how you feel about it. And if you're not feeling it, you can always use your old Death Adder until you feel more comfortable on it. So now we're in the micro adjustment tasks. This one's a little bit more about like target priority. Not really trying to over-under flick, trying to land directly on the target. Oh. Hand just kind of stopped dead there on the mouse pad. I really gotta watch this pad. I have a bunch of nice mouse pads, they're all just dirty. I just kept cycling through them. Now they're all dirty again. Even going from the M171 to Death Adder, which is 17 gram difference, took 1 good week, and I'm going 50 grams later. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna feel like you have nothing in your hand. That's pretty much what happened when I got my Super Light 2, because it was about half the weight of the original G Pro, and I just... Feeling like you have nothing in your hand is like awesome, but not the easiest thing to just adjust to instantly. But you never know. Sometimes those first couple runs you have with it are crazy, and then you have like an adjustment period after you like initially get it, because you're like so excited, you're really locked in. This run kind of sucks. Pulling it back a little bit here, but probably gonna be my worst run of the bunch on this task. Yeah, I'm slowing down, I can feel it. Oh well. Yeah, overflick. Yeah, honestly, after the previous flicking tasks, getting into a micro adjustment task where you're supposed to land directly on it is frustrating. This is actually one of my favorite tests, the microberry, mostly because it takes any of the like target prioritization aspect out of it. The pathing is very obvious because there's only 2 targets on the screen at any given time, and it kind of combines all of the skills we've built up so far in the routines. And I've always liked the more precision-oriented tasks, personally. Alright. Decent run in here. Probably not going to be anywhere near a record, but... yeah, solid though. Yeah, tracking can be pretty annoying, especially if you don't play a lot of games that are tracking oriented, which I personally don't. Well, I'm old, so I came from Counter-Strike 1.6, but I mostly played tactical shooters, so low time to kill, tracking's not really a thing. So I played some Overwatch, but not much. And even then when I played Overwatch, I always played hit scan, play like heroes, so just trying to avoid tracking as much as possible. Because again, not really my skill set. Oddly enough, though, I also really don't enjoy sniping. Not that I'm terrible at it, but I just kind of find it boring. Alright, I'm gonna run here. Gotta push the pace a little bit. My accuracy is really high. These are probably going too slow. Really gotta explode between these targets. Oh. Alright, yeah. Definitely pushing the pace because my accuracy is starting to crumble here. Go. Finding it a little bit more, but I probably slowed down a teensy bit as well. Yeah, it's definitely the worst of the bunch, but my accuracy also cratered, but that's also me pushing the pace, so it is what it is. All right, one more 2-minute break, and then we get into the final set of tasks here. The only time I used a light mouse was at a friend's place. I think it was a Logitech Super Light. Basically flew out of my hand with each flick. I heard lots of good things about the OP1 coding and stuff, so hopefully I can aim. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it comes down to whether or not you like the feel in your hand with mice for the most part, right? Like, once you get in like the upper tier of gaming mice, they all have good sensors. They all are gonna perform well enough. So it's just like, what mouse shape do you like? What coding do you like? You can always change the skates if you want them to, you want a little bit more resistance or a little less. That was one thing for me that helped a lot with the Super Light because I got the Super Light 2, and once I got it on release. So once they released some third-party skates and I could get some skates that add a little bit more friction and slowed the thing down, I felt so much better. Oh geez, that's way too much. Yeah, okay. Absolutely fair. Yeah, no, having a full-time job for me definitely made it so I could actually buy nice stuff. I wasn't able to like buy a nice gaming setup until I was in my 30s, basically. Because it was finally when I was making enough money to justify it. But yeah, effective and cost-effective, and finding that balance between the two is always a task. All right, getting into the last 30 seconds here of the rest. So we're gonna move into the moving targets. The first task is gonna basically be shooting down a hallway. Target's gonna appear on 3 different vertical axis points, and then they're gonna be moving left or right. Point is to get the crosshair in front of the target and shoot it. The hardest part about this task is it's hard to see where the collision with the wall is going to be when the target strafes into the wall. Alright, 2 minutes is up here, so we're going to jump in. To be honest, I'm pretty happy with my setup. A decent PC, 144Hz monitor, QCKH mouse pad. But yeah, no, I basically just went down the rabbit hole of being like, I'm going to get better and better and better things. So like as I got more into Valorant, I just wanted to get to a place where I felt like it wasn't my setup that was holding me back at all. I wanted to know that it was me being bad and not my PC holding me back. So I kind of started chasing diminishing returns to some extent. Upgraded to like a 3080 Ti graphics card back in 2020. Basically got a new motherboard, what am I saying? New motherboard and a new CPU, replaced the RAM, did all of that, upgraded the hard drives, got a 240 hertz monitor, which I should really get like a 360 or like a 480 to be honest. But yeah, I started like going stupid crazy trying to chase stuff. I like having a lighter mouse. I didn't appreciate it initially because I had the heavier Death Adder 2 when I started, and I was just like, but I kind of like heavy mice. And then I finally got a light mouse and was like, oh, I get it. So one thing I need to personally be aware of when I'm playing this task is I tend to loop my crosshair between targets. I need to just force myself to pause slightly so I don't do that, because I just have like a little bit of inefficiency in my movement that I need to remove. Otherwise, it's mostly a flicking task. You shouldn't be tracking it all in this. And then the key is if you do move, repositioning so you're in front of the target, not chasing it. I'm moving pretty slow on this one right now, but that's all right. Got a couple more options to push this a little harder. Yeah. I should be up near like the upper 900s, getting into the 1,000 range. This is notoriously like one of the least favorite tasks from the playlist for most people. This used to be one of my favorites because I used to consistently score high on it back when I was doing this all the time. But yeah, this one can be punishing if you your approach is flawed. I hate missing more than once. Oh, I misclicked there. Alright, that's better. That's way better. My switching is best, flicking is second, tracking is worst by a mile. Yeah, I think we all have our strengths. The key is basically just not leaning completely into your strengths when you're doing these aim training tasks. Like if you're going to take the time to aim, I'm going to start that over. If you're going to take the time to aim train, work on the areas where you're most efficient, because that's going to give you the most return when in your game of choice, you know, or games of choice. But there's nothing quite like spamming grid shot, you know? Alright, 2 decent runs there. Alright, we're getting into the last task here. This just adds multiple targets at once, so there's a little bit of target priority here going on. Problem with the Death Adder is that my wrist gets strained after 15 minutes of aiming, especially since I'm using a fingertip grip on a heavy palm grip mouse. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you have the wrong type of mouse for the type of grip you like to have, definitely could see how that would add strain to your aim or to your whole routine. Fortunately, I have a pretty neutral grip, so I actually kind of like the body uniformity of like this Logitech Superlights and G Pros and stuff. I use my old G Pro at work now. So I still get to use a heavier mouse, but light comparatively to like non-gaming mice. Alright, decent first run there. 2 more times, then we're gonna run the DM or 2 in Valorant and probably have to call it a day. Probably gonna be a very quick stream, but gotta get my dog out for a walk. And kiddos will be home soon, so I'll have to hang out with them, and then I have choir practice tonight, so. Not a lot of free time today, unfortunately. But I try to get my aim routine in as often as I can. I'd do it every day if I could, but not always feasible. To be honest, I fell for the video trap. I might have watched like 10 videos about it. Every single one made it seem like the best thing in existence. Yeah, it's always one of those things. You kind of just have to like do what feels right for you. There's a lot of people have a lot of really strong opinions about things, and it's like when it comes to things like aim and just like mouse control, it's like what feels right in your hand. Oh my god, I'm gonna start over. That felt bad. Alright, we're gonna lock in on this last task here and just do our best. Goal here is hopefully getting a little bit better every day, a little bit more consistent, making our lows a little bit less frequent, and our highs a little bit higher. For me, the 2 biggest detriments I tend to have are when I'm wearing my contacts over my glasses, because my eyes dry out and my vision goes blurry. Or if I'm exceedingly tired. Alright, that's decent. So we're gonna transition into Valorant here, play a couple DMs, and then likely call it a day. Let's close out of Steam. Gotta get into Valorant. Sorry, just logging in here. The skates on the Super Light are very good though. Compared to the Death Adder, it feels like butter. I don't know if it's the weight of the skates, to be honest. Well, I mean, yeah, like new skates, especially if you've had your Death Adder for a while, if the skates are worn down, that can make a huge difference. On my original G Pro, I had the default skates on, and I'd used that mouse for like, I don't know, 4 years. And you could like visually see that the skates were worn down. So it was like scraping part of the plastic against my mouse pads and stuff. So once I put new skates on that, it was like a brand new mouse. Log out, please restart client. Oh, come on. But yeah, I replaced the skates on mine, Super Light, just to add a little bit more friction, because I didn't. Not that the original skates on the Super Light are bad, I just wanted to have a teensy bit more friction on my skates. Funnily enough, the skates on my Death Adder have more friction than the rest of the mouse. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, since I play Valorant primarily, I pretty much do everything in my power to actually slow down all of my stuff. So, you know, I have a very soft mouse pad. I use the Artisan Zero. Or at least that's what I'm using currently. And then I got like super slow skates. All right, let's see, what do I got on here? I will rock the Oni for the first one here. Just gonna run a couple death matches, and then I gotta get my dog out for a walk. I've actually been doing pretty good on my death matches. I think pushing like a 30% win rate currently, if I remember correctly.
Match found.
So mostly, I'm just playing Vandal only at this point, because I'm like, not that I'm prioritizing winning over everything, but I'm putting myself in a position to win, you know? Music seems extra loud right now. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit on my end.
Deathmatch. Warm up.
All right, well, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a good night. Of course. Oh, warm-ups are always so silly. Where was I on that?
Isolate the problem. You crush it.
All right.
Fight.
Let's kill this competition.
Our best. Got a little bit of movement error.
Go away. Sorry, little guy.
Better. There's somebody main and somebody there, and I just happened to pick the wrong one.
Hush up. Perfect.
Where's the next target?
Irrelevant. Obsolete.
Boom! Alright, Gecko. That's the shot. Another guy from heaven. Okay, unlucky.
Pinpoint.
That one was a little bit lucky. Better. I killed him.
Deficient.
Better. Better.
Dominating.
No. Alright. Okay. Unfortunate. Weird spawn. Happens.
Close in timeout.
Okay. swung so wide, my god. Honestly, just... Okay. Is this the only angle you're holding, KJ? It's helpful. Okay. Swing from behind. It happens, but...
Tragic.
Did you sell for me? Unfortunate spawn.
Redundant. That's three.
Dude, what the? There's two guys backside? That's fucking weird, dude. That is fucking weird. Can't get a fight there without being exposed to everything. Alright, unfortunate. Gotta slow down. If I just take my time aiming, I'll be fine.
10 kills remaining.
Time.
Sorry, little guy.
Okay. Dude, this guy just doesn't swing. Okay. Okay. I should have taken my time a little bit there.
Down. Close in timeout.
Bro. That's just unlucky.
5 kills remaining.
Okay. This guy's gotten a lot more engagement than I did. Fudge.
Please.
1 kill
Sorry,
remaining.
little guy.
Did it. Boom. Honestly, I might just call it there. I got my win. Pretty happy with that. All right, everybody. I do appreciate you stopping by. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I'll be back again soon. Until then, have a good one.